Hello, everyone. Hello, beautiful ladies. As you can see, I'm recording this. It's a little later than usual. But I wanted to come and talk to you today about the road to self discovery. And I have here with me my daughter, my 22-year-old daughter, beautiful daughter, Ashe, who is going to talk with me on this topic. And so let's begin. And so I just have some questions for her because I know that you had told me that you are on a road to self-discovery. What caused you to begin this journey of self-discovery?
Well, recently I have just started my self-discovery road. It started because I was in a toxic relationship. It was toxic on my end because I didn't know myself, toxic on his end because there was just some things missing. I was looking for things in relationships that I lacked, things I was insecure of, things that I just wanted comfort in. And when I realized that, hey, this isn't working, this is only keeping me from finding out who I am, finding out my worth, my strengths, just finding more about Ashe. And I just realized for the both of us it wasn't good, that we needed that time apart for many reasons. But since that time apart, like, I find myself not filling the void, because we all have voids, we all have holes. Once we take our attention away from something that has kept us busy for a while, we tend to look and we tend to, grasp at things to fill that void back up, because nobody likes to feel empty. And I used to do that. I used to try to fill my void with whatever means necessary, whether it was social media, whether it was like going out with my friends, whether it was talking to boys. But I realize now to become the woman God needs me to be, become the woman that I am, trying to be. I have to push back and fight back all those, well, this is a quick fix, this will make me happy here. And if I have to lean or depend on other people to make me happy, I can't be happy. And I don't like that. And I realized that on my Christian journey or my self journey, that if I can't be happy with myself, I can't be happy in any friendship, I can't be happy in any relationship. And that's not what I wanted. So mainly my focus, my main goal for wanting to go on a self journey is to better me, is to fall in love with who God intended me to be, and to just genuinely be happy and peaceful in any area of my life without anybody present, and to mature and actually develop into the woman God has me to be, the wife I'm supposed to be, the mother I need to be. And I can't have any of that until I start with the root, until I heal all the traumas, all the things that really scarred me and I let affect me so much. So hopefully that answers your question. I'm trying to be transparent.
Has it been a hard road to get to this point?
Yes, it has definitely been a hard road. I am not the type of person who will sit still. I am a very busybody. I don't like to sit still. I have to keep moving. I don't like to be in the quiet to where all my thoughts can, get to me. And it's not easy, but over time, maybe some weeks or so over time, I find it more comforting. I find it more my safe place, my truly precious moments that I can't fake. Like, those are the real moments. Those are my plants. Those are my seeds to actually grow and nourish, and to, just, if I'm having a hard day, I can, settle with myself. I can reflect back on my thoughts. I can reflect back on what happened here, or whatever here. And I've been keeping a journal, and journaling helps definitely for me, because I am a very emotional creature, and so is many others, which is, that's okay. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay to feel vulnerable at times, but it's I don't want that emotion to take control of what's going on or how I handle a situation. And so for me to not react on the first thought that comes to mind, or on the first, oh well, this is how you made me feel, this is how I feel right now, and I'm not seeing reasonably, I'm not seeing reality, I write it down, and then I revisit it, and I leave space for, okay, but what really happened? What did you do wrong? But did you do anything wrong? Like, it gives me that time to be transparent with myself. And since we're being transparent, like, the journey, like, yeah, it's been a little hard, it's been a little rough, it's not been easy. Like, there's some days where you just want to be like, okay, I can't do this, it's very hard, but there's gonna be a lot of tears. There's a lot of tearful moments, because it's like, oh, I'm longing for this person, I need somebody to text me. Yesterday, day before yesterday, I had a slip. I caught myself, and it was the day I had bragged about, oh, I feel so good. I feel amazing today. Like, I'm doing so good. Just bragging on myself, because you gotta brag on yourself. You gotta push yourself. Like, you gotta be your own cheerleader. And I was doing that for me, and I was so proud of me doing, just being me, doing things, finding things about myself, and I loved it. And then later that night, boom, it just hits me, and I'm like, why am I feeling this emptiness? Like, why am I feeling this need to talk to somebody? Why am I feeling the need to be on the phone to call somebody? Like, that's not me anymore. And you'll have those moments. You'll have those days where it's like, like, I just want to go back. I want to do this because I'm not feeling good right now. But what helps me is just, I have to fight it. I have to be like, you know what, no. Because in the long run, it'll be so much better. I'll look back and be like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't backtrack. Or, oh, even if I do backtrack, I'm human. I quickly remind myself, hey, snap out of it. Like, do this. Like, get your mind off of this. Read, and I'll read my devotions or meditation, or I'll just, like, prayer. Like, please, like, I need help right now. And, like, that's just how it is sometimes.
And what people don't realize is that on the journey to self-discovery, you can't do it alone. And what I mean by alone, meaning that it's not just for someone to decide, oh, I just want to find out who I am. Well, to find out who you truly are means going before God, your creator, getting to know and accept yourself for who you are. All the downfalls, all the imperfections, from the texture of your hair to the dark or lightness of your skin, to the features on your face or body type, and all of that, because we live in a world where with social media you see everything, and it's easy, especially for young girls, and to be honest, even those older, to not look at someone's pictures or profiles or everything that's posted, and to want in some form or fashion to be like them. And to be honest, it's those who don't know themselves will find themselves wanting what someone else has, because they don't know who they are. And so on this journey, I know you said that it hasn't been easy sometimes. And I know you said there was one time after celebrating yourself, after basically commending yourself and saying, you feel good, you had a good day, and then bam, here something comes. And what we have to realize is that anytime we are on a journey, anytime we are on that path seeking God, the enemy is always going to try to come and trip you up. He's always going to try to come to get you back to your old ways, old habits, to make you feel so weak that you're not able to complete the journey. You're not able to complete it successfully. And it ends up of you going back from what you're really trying to get away from. And so it's good, as you did, to recognize, you know what, okay, this happened, I had this moment, but I'm going to press through it. One of the reasons why, if anyone, and I think every woman has to go on this self-discovery journey for themselves, away from everything. And to do that, you have to pull yourself away. You can't be out in the front. You can't be out, doing this and that. But it calls for a withdrawing. It calls for a shutting everything else out and just getting into the presence of God, becoming familiar with your Maker, so to speak. So that way you not only begin to gain a sense of who you are, but you gain the sense of who God is in our lives. It's so important. It's so important, because until we get that, until we set God up as the only supreme, as the only thing that we need, we'll never be satisfied.
Yeah.
We're always looking.
And if I can, comment on what you said, as a 22-year-old, it's hard. Like, you're in adulthood, you're learning the ins and outs, responsibilities. Like, you're learning to be more of a woman. And what I found hard for me was the social media thing. Like, I would compare myself to other women, because nowadays, people are getting plastic surgery, people are getting things to enhance their bodies, and that's usually like all on your feed. That's all you see is women who transform themselves, women who now get attention, women who get those likes, women who most people talk about, or who are really famous, and you see them and it's like, oh, they are really gorgeous. But I think that we forget that God doesn't look at the outer appearance, he looks at the heart. And what reality, or what social media, what people have taught us, and we blindly follow it, is that, oh, you do have to have this certain hair, you have to have this skin, you can't have no blemishes, you have to have this shape, you have to be at least this height. And it's hard, because like, for someone who looks on social media constantly, you want to be like that person. You want to be in that form, in that fit. And I had caught myself looking at some lady, and I was like, oh, she's just so beautiful. I was looking, and then I looked in the mirror, and that was a mistake, because it's like, you look nothing like this person. Like, you don't have the same features as this person, might not have the same eye color as this person. Why are you looking at yourself than her? And I realized, and I was like, I don't want to do that anymore, especially on my self journey and where I'm trying to grow and love me. I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. Every woman, every person is beautiful. Every person with either albino or the look different patch skin or freckles, whatever it may be, they're beautiful. And I had to realize, okay, I need a break from social media. I need to cut out what I look at and whatever I see, because it's not helping me. And I have to fast. I have to do a social media detox, basically, is what I'm calling it. It's a detox. And I start filling myself with the word. I start filling myself with affirmations that I tell myself, so that way if I do see a pretty woman, I'm like, okay, yeah, she's pretty, but so am I. Like, I have a good heart. And you can't always go on what you see either, because not everybody has a good heart. So that's what I'm learning, finding out on this journey.
What is the important thing that's keeping you on this journey? Because anytime we're striving for something, anytime we have set our eyes to do something, it's for a purpose. It's usually for a purpose. It's for a reason. Some people may go to school to earn a degree in a certain field or area, and depending on what it is, some people say because I want to help people. I want to, it makes me feel good to be able to do this, or because something has happened in their past that has made them say, but you know what, this happened, but I want to be one of those people that turn that around. I want to be one of those that begin to help people and steer people in the right direction. I want to be that positive voice that I feel like this sect of people need. And so there's usually a lot of times something it should be in order to keep pressing. Something that's going to keep you, like when you have your weak moments, and we all have them. We all have our weak moments. If we're honest, no matter what age we are, we have our weak moments. But what keeps you, what is that within you, or what do you have your eyes set on that's keeping you moving forward?
Well, personally, I know each person's story is different. I know each, reason behind anybody does something is different. So for me, what I see, my end goal for me pushing so hard the way I do, for me, like, avoiding temptation or like diffusing those thoughts in my head, is I just simply don't want to be that mess. I don't want to feel icky anymore. I don't want to feel like I'm bounded to the same pattern of broken relationships, broken trust, broken not being able to let people in. Like I don't want to do that. I'd be lying to myself if I said that was comfortable, but that's not comfort. That's just a quick fix in a lie that I was telling myself, like, okay, you know what, it's the same thing. Next, keep it going. Like, I didn't want to be a machine anymore. I wanted to feel free. I wanted to actually let go. I want to be different. I don't want to be holding on to whatever it is in my past, or to blame that and be like, oh, well, that happened, so this is how I am. Like, I don't want to do that.
What do you mean you don't want to be that machine?
When I say that machine, like, I want, let's say, if we have a factory and, the machine prints out the same thing over and over again. Let's say if they're making bottles, the cup, the lid, print, same. Like, all it does is the print or shape the bottle, whatever. It keeps going. It never shifts. It never does anything differently. It's just programmed to only manufacture what is put in. And so
it's good. It's real good. So you don't want to produce the same cycle.
Yes.
You don't want to do the same things, producing the exact same results.
Yes.
But you're doing this in order to have different results.
Yes.
And you're recognizing then, from my understanding of that statement, is that you recognize in order for different results to come about, you've got to change. Because if we don't change, we produce the same results. Even if we think for a day, or I put on different clothing, that don't make you change.
Right.
If I change my hairstyle, if I put on this wig, if I put this weave in my head, braids or color, that's not going to change the outcome of what you do.
Right.
So it's not an outward appearance. It's an internal change. And that's what this road is about, it sounds like.
Yes.
Is you're seeking for an internal change in order to produce different results. That's good. That's good. And because to do the exact same things over, or to do the exact same things expecting different results, is considered to be insane. Meaning that if you want to change and you want to see your life changing, what you put out, you doing different things, your speech changing, the places you go to change, you've got to change internally. Because if you don't change internally, if you yourself are the exact same person with the same mindset, same ideology, same outlook on life, or what have you, still love to do this or to that, to still love to participate in this thing or to go to this place. And let's be transparent. You still love to go out and hang out in clubs. You enjoy putting on maybe the same type of clothing, but you're doing everything the same, but yet there are many who then want something different.
Yeah,
want something more, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah, and a good example, I feel like, or what I think of, what comes to mind when you do something the same and expect, different results, is a fisherman. You cast out in the water with the same line, expecting to catch a catfish.
You have to change your bait.
Exactly. You have to change the bait. You have to learn more about the catfish. You have to learn, okay, how the catfish works, where the catfish is. You can't just put something on hoping to get the catfish.
Amen.
And that's like those machines. You can't program that machine to put only lids on top of Cokes and think, okay, why aren't you making me this? Because you didn't manufacture it. You didn't, deprogram it. You didn't insert something in its hard drive to kind of change it, to change its router, to change, okay, I'll do this. You have to, like for me, if I don't like to study. I am a procrastinator. And I know that, okay, you know what, I'll do it later. But if I sit there and be like, okay, I'm going to do it now, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to do it right now. And then I look at something else and be like, oh, right now is not right now. It's an hour. And then I do it in an hour, or half do it in an hour. And I'm like, okay, well, why didn't this get done? It's because I'm not putting in effort. I'm not trying to do what needs to be done for that change, for that procrastination to go away, for that, whatever the case may be. It's effort. It's effort and choice.
Amen. So, and that's basically saying that you can think all day long, I'm going to do this, I need to do this, I know that this is good for me to do this, but if you never do it, it's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to get you anywhere. I can think, I need to clean my home. I can see the mess. I can think in my mind with maybe the things that are, if there's clothing or whatever on the floor that I need to pick up and put it in its respective place. But if all I do is sit on the couch and think about it, the work will never get done, and I'll still be in mess, right? Yeah. And nothing changes. But sometimes, and that's a good point, because we're outside, as you can see, and when you come outside at this time, you have all these mosquitoes. So if you hear me hitting and all this, that's what it is. But that's a mindset. It really is, because there are many people who are thinking about the change and expecting results, but you can't think. It requires action. It requires work, and it's hard work. You have to put in the time. You have to put in that time. If you want to see God more in your life, then you got to spend more time with Him. If you want to, if God has placed something on your heart for you to do, let's say to write a book. Let's say to write a book. Well, you can't just think about it in your mind. You got to start getting the pen and the paper or in front of your computer and start typing it. Start somewhere. Because to think about it and do nothing, you will drive yourself crazy thinking of what I need to do, but seeing that nothing is ever getting done. You've got to put in the work. And that work is not easy. It requires a self-control. Did you say?
Yes.
And why is that?
Definitely self-control, because it's very easy to go back to your comfortable state. It's very easy to fall back in what feels safe to you, what feels normal to you, because when you're wanting to change, you're being vulnerable. You're discovering something different. It's harder for you. And once your brain has realized the effort, the push that it's having to do, it's not gonna like it. You're gonna want to just go back to drinking as much as you do. You're gonna want to go back to sleeping with whoever. You're gonna want to do that.
I appreciate that transparency because in the world we live in, that's a reality. Where many people are filling voids with either substances, they become a substance abuser, or it's with other people. And it's not a laughing matter, to be honest. We can talk about people all day long, excuse me, but it's a real issue because then there's a void there, there's a lacking there, there's a feeling of insufficiency there. And we have sometimes the wrong idea of what we need to feel something with. It's not an individual. And not immediately, but eventually, I'll start doing videos on being single, because a lot of times in being single, you have a lot of people, a lot of women who feel like I need to have somebody in order to be happy. And that's a lie from the enemy. You can be happy with yourself, but you first have to find out who you are. You need to know yourself first before you try to give yourself to someone and expect them to tell you who you are.
Okay. Broke people can't break. I said broke people. Broke people hurt other broke people, and then that causes them to not experience the growth, the change they need. Because if you intercede in someone's life expecting them to fix you or you to fix them, you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail, and you're gonna end up hurt. You're gonna end up hurting that person, and you're both gonna end up back pushed off than where you should have been. So
this is good. This is real good, and I hope that you all are able to really hear, and that God will begin to speak to you in your own situation, because everybody's situation, as she stated before, is different.
yeah.
But it's the exact same principle. If you want to see change, you've got to change. Because what we see, how we respond, the actions that we take are just the byproduct of who we are. We're causing that hurt and pain. We're causing a lot of the things that happen in our lives to happen. We're choosing the wrong people in our lives, or we're just making and causing. It's a ripple effect. If you throw a pebble in the water, it's going to ripple, right? And so whatever we do is going to cause an effect. And so on this journey, while on this self-seeking journey, what have you found that there are distractions on this journey?
Yes. Yes. And I think it's funny that you asked me that, because yes, I have. For me, my big thing was I didn't love myself. I was insecure a lot. I was a people pleaser. I looked for friendships. I looked for relationships. Anything to fill the void, the love that I needed or felt that could be, just temporarily put there. And after realizing that I want to be the one, I want to be with who God promised me, I realized that I have to put away childish things. I had to put off, going after guys or going after whoever for attention. And I had to, actually sit down and look at myself and think, like, why do I do that? I had to backtrack and look in my past. Though it hurt, it did hurt. And I had to see, okay, why did I do that? And ever since then, and I found, some serenity, some peace in that. And it's like, okay, I don't need guys. I don't need people. I don't need validations anymore. I just find it difficult because I'll see, like, a cute guy, or I'll see someone who's looking at me and I'm like, you like me? And I'm like, you like me? But I have to remind myself, like, just focus on me right now. Like, you don't need their attention anyways. Like, you're beautiful. You don't need validation, like, you know you're smart, like, you know you're beautiful, you know, like, be happy with you, and your time will come with whoever. And so, yeah, it's I've had my hard days. I be wanting to, wave a little bit, but
Is that a part of that old nature starting to try to present itself?
It's when you find yourself wanting to get past or overcome something in your past that you're ashamed of or you don't like about you anymore, it does try to come back. And that's like, if I buy an Audi today, I'm gonna see that Audi more on the streets. I'm gonna see it everywhere because I just bought an Audi. Whereas before, if I didn't have one, I wouldn't see it as much. And I feel like that's the same thing. Whereas before, I was doing what I wanted to do. I was feeling how I wanted to feel, even though it would cause me pains every now and then. But I was like, you know what, quick fix, whatever. I was fine. And I didn't see that many guys, trying to talk to me or looking at me or whatever. But then it's like when I'm on me, I'm centered on me, I'm focused on this path, on, loving myself, distancing myself from people until I have mentally programmed it into myself, until God has, actually programmed me to, react and behave a certain way to where I won't respond, where I won't give people, that little smirk or whatever. And I'm like, they're just people. And I just,
That reminds me of the scripture that says, in Christ Jesus, we are a new creation. The old has passed away, the new has come. But along this journey of getting to the new, you will have those moments where the old is trying to rear back up its ugly head. You will have where it is trying to wiggle its way back to the surface to take control of you, to take master over you again, to again put you back on that same path, to keep you in that cycle of producing the same results. And so along this journey there, it sounds like, whether we're conscious or not, there are stages. There are stages, and a part of that stage is being able to recognize when the old nature is trying to surface.
that is very important.
And then pushing it back, suppressing it, becoming master over it with the Word of God, and still fight to be that new creation in Christ Jesus, because it is a fight. It's a spiritual battle. The Bible tells us that the flesh and the spirit, they war against each other, and that can be on a consistent basis. And that's how you know when you grow, because that's when you begin to battle. That's when you begin to struggle, whereas before you didn't struggle. You just gave in to the inclinations. You gave in to the urges. You gave in to that desire and began to respond out of that. You begin to act out of it. Whereas now it's a struggle because you're fighting it. You're trying to keep it suppressed. You're trying to keep it from wreaking havoc back in your life. And the only way a person is doing that is because you recognize, like you stated more than once during this, is that you didn't want to get back to that mess. You didn't want to get back to that feeling of chaotic lifestyle, of feeling unhappy, of being hurt, of being treated one way. And because of that, and because now it's important for you to find out who you are, that's not enough anymore.
Right.
What you used to do, and also experience will make that shift in your life. When you've been hurt, when you've gone through some things, because a lot of times we will keep doing the same things over and over.
It takes a knock on the head to be like, ouch.
To want to change.
Yeah.
It's just like if you ever, when you were little, touched the stove.
You ain't touch it again.
Yeah, because you learned that's hot. And I know what's happening once I touch that. That hurt. So anytime pain has a lesson in our lives, it really does.
But with that being said, a person can deal with pain differently. I know since I guess elementary school, some stuff had happened with people who I thought were my friends, or when I got bullied by people I thought were cool with me. I put up a wall. And then the next time I got hurt again, there was another wall, higher than the last, and then another wall and another wall, until I felt like, okay, nobody can really reach me. And that was wrong, because with that wall up, I could never get help. I could never, I would never listen to anybody, especially if it was honest criticism, if it was coming from the people who loved me and, wanted to help me. I wouldn't listen, because it's like, I don't trust what you're saying to me. I don't trust, I've been hurt too many times. I don't know if your intentions are good. And it's like, you want help, but you never put yourself in that position to help. So that's another thing of change. You can't say you're going to change with your walls still up. Because I can sit here and say, oh, I want to change all day long. I want to grow all day long. But if I will never let you touch me, if I will never let you close enough to, actually have me open up and see the vulnerable side of me, I will never change. And it takes a lot of accountability while on this growth that I've learned.
That's profound. So basically what you just said is that you have to break down your walls and make yourself vulnerable again, in order to be able to change. So to be changed means you put yourself out there, in a sense, not literally, because again, you take a back seat, you withdraw, but yet you say, here I am.
Right.
This is all of me.
Right.
My hurts, my pains, my insecurities, where I've been damaged. It's almost like getting in front of a mirror naked, recognizing
Your
flaws, your shape,
and loving what you see.
the damage to your body that maybe have been caused by others. Because when we see all of that, it's going to automatically put us back in that frame of mind of where all of these scars came from. And it causes us to have to deal with it. Because if we don't deal with it, we're always trying to cover it up. And if we're always trying to cover it up, you're never going to heal. Anytime we have a wound, a sore, there's times it is appropriate to cover it up, to put a Band-Aid on it. But then there's other times where you have to remove that Band-Aid and let some air. You have to expose it. You have to open it up. You have to be vulnerable and open it up, and knowing that something else could hit it. Something, anything. It would become vulnerable,
Hurts.
And it does hurt when we expose ourselves, because it's at that point that, and this will be a telltale sign of the type of people you have in your life, that when you are doing that change and you are on that journey, and the ones who you thought were your friends, if they begin to expose you, meaning that talk about you, put you down, bring up who you were, oh, she thinks she's better now, she's trying to do this, those aren't real friends. Because a friend will pray for you, will be there for you, might help you along the way, will truly be that shoulder to cry on, and will help you to be strong, will support you in the change. And as a matter of fact, they may even begin to see, I too. Because the truth of the matter is, we all have areas that we need to do a self-discovery on. Not a half self-discovery, but a full one.
Right.
And I say half because someone may not want to face their past. Someone may not want to deal with that pain. They don't want that to resurface. But when you go to a therapist, guess what? That's what they do. They pull off the Band-Aid and slowly but surely begin to expose, put you in a vulnerable position by going back in your past for you to begin to talk about those things that you tried to cover up to begin with.
Right.
And the only way, because I hear a lot of people say therapy helps, if you really give into it, therapy helps. So that means you've got to expose yourself. You have to get past pride. You can't go to a therapy session, you can't go before God and expect to change with pride. Because that's a wall.
Yeah.
It's a wall.
Yeah.
But like she said, you have to remove those walls. And it's not fun. It's not fun, but it's necessary.
Right.
If you want to change, if you want different in your life, if you want something better.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, the time I had stitches in my eyelid. First, it was an open wound. And then I had to go get it stitched up by a doctor, by a professional to help.
But tell how you got, because I'm sure some people want to know why did you have to have stitches in
I
your
had
eye?
stitches.
I didn't hit her.
Or did she?
Oh.
No, we had a German Shepherd at the time. He was he was a big puppy. He was a big baby. He was a real sweetheart. I had come home from spending the night over at my cousin's house, and I was laying on the couch, and he likes to do this thing where he throws his toy at you, and so you get ready to pick it up, and he'll like kind of jump, and so I went to pick up the toy, and he kind of had jumped, and his nail like dug in my eyelid, and thankfully it didn't break through the whole skin. It was just the first layer of skin, I believe it was, that had like ripped off. Yeah, but it bled it was bleeding a lot. We ended up going to the hospital. I put pressure on the wound, Vaseline, until we got there. The lady told me to go ahead and take it off. They put numbing cream on it, and I was distracted. I remember I had an iPad. I was distracted for a while, and they just came in, stitched it up. I didn't feel pain because I wasn't looking at it. I didn't feel any pain. It was numb. And I remember going home, forgetting I had it in the first place, and I rubbed it, and that's when I was like, ouch. And I was like, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to touch it. Nothing. And then it came time to get the stitches out. I didn't want to get the stitches out at all because I knew it was going to hurt. There was no numbing pain. There was nothing. I had to sit there, and they took all the stitches out. And that process was horrible, but it was needed because it healed fine, actually. Like, I still have a small scar. It's barely noticeable, but it healed fine. And I guess the reason I brought that up is because we get hurt. We get scratched, and we bleed. Sometimes we bleed more than others, depending on the situation. And we go to people for help, or sometimes we need to go to people for help, but sometimes we go to the wrong people for help. And in this case, if I wouldn't have went to a doctor, let's say I would have just put a Band-Aid on it, it wouldn't have healed correctly. It wouldn't have healed the right way. It wouldn't have did what it needed to do, the steps that it needed to go through for it to heal. And that's what we need. Sometimes we need to go to our doctor. Sometimes we need therapy. Sometimes it means putting down that bottle. Sometimes it means going to an AA meeting. And sometimes it means just talking to someone, calling someone. And if we're depressed or whatever the case may be, it means calling a hotline, which is all okay because we've been hurt. And that's fine. Like, nobody should ever make you feel bad for being hurt. That's okay. You just need to make sure you take the appropriate steps, going to that person, that professional, going to someone that you trust to talk to. And then once it's still like, you might feel numb in the process. You might not feel anything in that moment, but eventually, like, once it's time to get the stitches out, you're gonna hurt because you're forced to face it. You're forced to realize what's happening. You're forced to look like, oh, okay, wait a minute, ouch, like, ouch. And then once it's done and you see the small scar that you was trying to prevent from getting healed, you're like, oh, really? It's done? I'm healed from this? Okay. So, yeah.
Which means it makes it worthwhile for the journey.
It does.
Even though it hurts, it's worth it. It's necessary to go through what you must go through in order to heal. In order to heal.
Mm-hmm.
And just one more question here before we begin to wrap things up. How long do you think this journey will last?
Honestly, if it was up to me, this journey would last, I'd say, about 4 months. But that's not realistically, and I can't say for how long I think it'll last. I really can't. Like, I can have my hopes, I can have what I believe it should end, whatever, but it depends, because I am still finding myself. I am still looking at different pieces, trying to fix them and put them together, and asking God for clarification in this, asking God to help me forgive in this, asking God for this and this. So it takes a while, and at the end of the day, no matter how I may want them 4 months to get this over with, to be excited to see the new me, to be excited to, have that sense of positivity no matter what in the situation, I'll never know, because every piece takes time, every thought, every, gear. Back to the machine. If the machine breaks down, it takes special mechanics to fix it. And even in mechanics, you have to call up in another mechanic to be like, hey, do you have this part? A machine can be down months, a year, and it'll never get fixed. It just depends on the pieces. It depends on who's working on it. Yeah, right. And it depends on backsliding. Sometimes you can fix that machine for a while and it could break. And that depends on me. That depends on the person, if how long my, growth is. Because if I keep backsliding and going, oops, I'll never get to the finish line.
Not allowing your process to be complete.
Yeah. Not allowing it to breathe.
And not allowing God to do everything that He needs to do,
right,
to heal you from every aspect of what caused you to begin to feel that way,
right, and not wanting to intercede,
right, yeah, and that's important, because a lot of times, if we go through something for a while, it's easy to want to say, I'm tired. You know what?
I don't see nothing.
I give up. I've been doing this for a while. I don't see anything, but
right.
God, just like in a wound, we can't see all the process that's taking place. We might feel it.
Right.
From itching to seeing the swelling, the redness, everything, because the body is sending different things to that area.
All the cells.
For a process to take place, for it to be healed, not just on the surface, but inside out. And that's what God is doing. He's working in that thing. He's doing a surgery, which is why it doesn't feel good, because He's having to pull out of you some things, weeds, those things that shouldn't have been there to begin with.
Right.
And what He created you, right, and experience, and what others have done from our past that have caused scars,
yeah,
and have caused us to behave differently,
right,
because of the different things that we've been through. But God is trying to heal that, so it's going to take a process, and not everybody's journey is the same. Some people may go for months,
right.
Some may only take weeks. Some may take years or a year. It just depends. It depends on many factors. It depends on, do you really want to be healed, and are you really willing to allow God to do what He needs to do, to put you through, to withdraw from some things, to cut out some things, and still not try to be the exact same person before, showing up at parties, doing
right.
this and that on social media, trying to still put on a mask when deep down you're still hurting. You've got to pull yourself away, and you've got to be true to who you are in front of God. You've got to come before Him in nakedness, meaning nothing hiding, but in truthfulness. And it may take a while, but again, it's well worth it, because in the end, like she said, she can be that complete woman for down the line,
Down the line.
her children after she's
I
married.
said for my husband, and
I have to put that out there, of course. But so she can be that complete woman for herself, and she can be happy and not depend on a man or anyone for that matter to fulfill that void and cause her to be happy. She will have joy in God. And that's what it's all about. That's what he wants anyway.
right.
He wants us to know who he is. He wants us to seek him for everything that we need. Our healing, our joy, even in finding our purpose, everything.
Right.
And once we can connect with him and find out who we are, then we will really begin to live a life that's beyond what we could ever imagine, because our outcomes will be different, because we would be different. We would be different. I commend you for on this journey. And sometimes it takes for us not just going through that journey once, but over time coming back, withdrawing, and getting back on that journey away from everything, because we can go through this journey and begin to live our whole self, but as we go through more experiences, as things come up in our lives, we can find ourselves again back hurt. We can find ourselves damaged again.
Yeah.
And so it can, I think, can be said that this should be something, to be honest, that should be done on a consistent basis. We need to analyze where we are. And are we being superficial? Or are we being truly honest in general? Or in true to who we are? And it takes a lot. So again, I commend you. I commend her for being on this video with me. I've asked her and my other daughter, along with other family members, and you know who you are, and even friends, to be on some of the videos. But I think it's good to be able to talk things out. So as you are on your road, I hope you will take the time, if it's necessary, to get on this road to self-discovery, because it's well worth it. And you will walk away better than when you first entered into and started this journey. I love you, my sisters, and I pray that you will be blessed. And she has something else you want to say before
Just
ending?
one more person, because I felt the need to say it. But if you are depressed, just know you are not alone. And there has been many like you. I used to be depressed. You will get through this. Do not be afraid to reach out. Even if it's your hotline, call your hotline, and you will be directed to people who can help you in your area.
Amen. Amen. And so I love you, ladies. And as always, we are on this journey so that we can keep moving forward. Amen.